everybody, my name is Bragster and welcome back to TEW 2020 where we're in charge of Impact Wrestling. Now we are just off the back of the best show ever.
This is the greatest show!
This is the greatest show! Yeah, that's right, the greatest show ever. Yeah, we smashed it out the park really. Out of completely nowhere. Hopefully we can do the same for future. It makes me optimistic if we can do that on a show that was nah. What can we do on a show where we have a even bigger main event? Obviously that is one of the biggest main events we can have, but it had a screwy finish, etc, etc, etc. So I'd love to know what we could do when we don't have a screwy finish and stuff like that and have a really good main event. Anyway, I think we should just roll on into it. I don't think there's much really to go over at the moment. Like, even just looking at the merch, there's not really much. We're right at the end of December, so I will show you the endings of all the merchandise. But all I can say really is a lot of people have gotten worse in terms of merch. Many people have gotten worse, but more people have sold merch. So I think we've actually made more money from merch, but we can have a look at it anyway. Let's have a look quickly while we're at it. But when it comes to merchandise, we've sold more merchandise. However, we've just had more people sell merch rather than the big stars selling more, if you get what I mean. So if anything happens before the show, we'll just get straight. I'll show you. I'm really mucking this up today, aren't I? If anything happens beforehand, I'll just show you. If not, we'll just get straight on into it. Right, so Zachary Wentz has sustained broken ribs. We'll have a look at what that means. That might actually change things for the tournament if it's a bad one. I don't think it is. It's being worked through for 26 days. Yeah, it's not ideal really, because I have plans obviously for that tournament, but 26 days, could that play into the tournament? I don't know what I can do here, because his performances are going to be worse, so the whatever matches I do in this tournament, they will be to a worse standard now. Right, Kimberly's contract is ending, but I will re-sign her because she's really good. So, of course, I'm going to re-sign her. I wouldn't say she's amazing, but she is pretty good. So, I'm just going to re-sign her, I think. Right, so it's the end of the year on the game, so we've got some awards to go through, which will be quite interesting because it does give you a little bit of insight into, you know, who's doing well in the game world and maybe who to keep an eye on and stuff. So Wrestler of the Year was Tetsuya Naito, Company of the Year was New Japan Pro Wrestling, no surprise there, Team of the Year was Kenta and Jay White. Match of the year was Will Ospreay and Kazuchika Okada. Okada. I said Okada in my head. Okada is what came out. Show of the year was New Japan's G1 Climax Night 9. Bloody hell, it's just New Japan Central. Young Wrestler of the Year was Al Quatrero. I have no idea. Let's have a look at his stats. He's actually really good in the ring by the looks of that. And he's only 24 as well, so he does qualify for young wrestler to say the least. But he only wrestles in Mexico. He's puts some on some amazing performances. I will put him on the short list just to keep an eye on him basically. Veteran Wrestler of the Year is Hiroshi Tanahashi. Female Wrestler of the Year is Kana, aka Asuka, for obvious reasons. Independent Wrestler of the Year is Will Ospreay. I like the fact I looked at his picture, I didn't even look at his name, I knew exactly who that was. Really, he's an incredible wrestler, But independent wrestler, does he class as that? I'm not too sure. Manager of the year is Gado. Announcer of the year is hotly contested apparently. It was Alfonso Murat. Who does he work for? CMLL. Oh, that's different to have a CMLL person in there. That's nice. Colour commentator is you. Who do you work for? Probably New Japan. Of course you work for New Japan. This game seems to be very into New Japan. Referee of the year, if you work for bloody New Japan, I swear to God. Okay, at least it's all Japan and not New Japan. That's nice. And Jeff Hardy is maybe leaving WWE. Interesting. Should we take Jeff Hardy if we can? He's got a lot of popularity, so he's a very good person to have. And he's still got it in the ring. Let's have a look at his match performances. I want to find a singles match. So this one against Jackson Riker, he's performing at his popularity of 68, which isn't ideal. But if he's performing roughly at his popularity, surely that's a good thing. Like, because his popularity is really good. So, what do you think we do here? Do we go for Jeff Hardy? Do we not? I might just put a bid in now. It'll break one of my own goals. But I think we should put just a bid in. Just to kind of put our names in the hat, really. So I think that's what I will do. He wants a higher cut of the merchandise, apparently, due to his popularity. But yeah, that's what I think we will do. Whether we accept it or not depends on whether he accepts it. If he accepts it before this video goes out, then obviously that we could be in trouble, because there won't be any input. But hopefully he won't accept it beforehand, which means you guys get some input. So do put down in the comments down below, do we get Jeff Hardy? Do we not? And if we do get Jeff Hardy, where do we put him? What feud do you want to see him in? Who do you want me to see him against? Etc, etc. That's up to you guys. And Alex Shelley's contract is ending, but for obvious reasons we are re-signing Alex Shelley. For obvious reasons. Alex Shelley is incredible. I've always been a fan of Alex Shelley since since I was younger, since I first started getting into wrestling. I really like the Motor City Machine Guns, and they're still good now, which is just astonishing to me. So I'm just looking at the Power 500 or whatever it is on the game, just because I wanted to know and just get a bit more information on people. There's a lot of 99 ratings for matches in New Japan. It's ridiculous. But I wanted to see when like the first AEW wrestler would pop up, when the first WWE wrestler would pop up, because it's dominated, and I mean dominated, by New Japan, which is a bit ridiculous. What, this is the top 20 and I haven't gotten to a United States wrestler yet. The top one is Bray Wyatt. That's mad to see Bray Wyatt be that high. 26th is the highest in WWE. We go to Kenny Omega is the highest in AEW, which is just amazing to see. Then we've got Braun, really? Randy, AJ, now we're starting to get to people that I know, like, and know well. I mean, I obviously know a few of them from Japan, but I don't know many. I'm not into Japanese wrestling. I don't know why, I just can't get myself into it. But it will be, I'm interested to see how far down our first person is. Jeff Hardy's reasonably high up, bear in mind they want to get rid of him. So, weirdly enough, our top wrestler is Jonathan Gresham, technically, because he is on our books, but he hasn't wrestled yet. I haven't come across anyone from ours yet, and I'm getting to the end of the top 200, which is not great. Johnny Gargano, there we go. Our first proper one who's actually had matches in Impact Wrestling. I like the fact his lowest rated match was with me at my pay-per-view, so that's great. But Johnny Gargano is our top star in our roster, and that's fine. Miro's a really good one, actually. Rusev and Miro's our best one that's been with us from the beginning. Johnny Gargano's and Jonathan Gresham are like our best ones, but they haven't really kicked up to a higher gear yet. But Miro is our first proper one, and I like the fact his lowest rated matches with me, his best matches with the other company, NWA. Wonderful. I thought you guys would be interested in that because I'm reasonably interested in the Power 500, so it's always nice to show you exactly what's going on. So I thought it'd be useful to have a look at last month's merchandise sales, just to see roughly, as I've said before, who to push, who to not to push. So we've got Johnny Gargano sold quite a bit, Mick Foley sold quite a bit, Miro in there, EC3, Alex Shelley bumped up massively, I think, from the month before. Phoenix is in there, he sold quite a bit for the short time he was in the company. Moose doing decently, Sami Callihan got a push, so that'd explain why he did decently. Eddie Edwards probably went down, I'm guessing. Chris Sabin getting in there is nice to see, same with Ken Shamrock, but Rob Van Dam was the biggest hit, I think. Thing with RVD, I think he's reaching the end. I really do think he's reaching the end of his time and tenure with us, and yeah, I think it might be time to get rid of him, because especially if we get Jeff Hardy, maybe Jeff Hardy fills in the where RVD was, kind of as this veteran, kind of deserving of all these shots, does it, and help push up these younger guys, because we're trying to push these younger guys up, and these younger guys are performing as good as RVD with much lower popularities, so not really sure what to do there. And we're already selling a decent amount of merch already, which says a lot. Alex Shelley doing better than Mick Foley already. Maybe Alex Shelley is like a next star for us, because he seems to be becoming one, which is just mad to think. But yeah, I thought you guys would be interested. Right, so we got some backstage instance, or just one, where Scott D'Amore and Rhino, where Scott D'Amore has been passing on microphone tips to Rhino. Wonderful stuff there. Will definitely help a few of our storylines. Right, so I'll book the show and then we'll go straight on in with it. Right, so I've booked the show and we have gone from our best show to possibly our worst show ever. There wasn't really an obvious main event on this show. There really wasn't an obvious main event. I don't think there was any high caliber matches, and everyone that could possibly have a high caliber match is currently in a storyline that doesn't quite lead to a match right now. So I have done the best I can. I've also changed the storyline of how I thought a storyline was going to go, just so I could get a possible main event caliber match, or a decent match at least, to go to the main event. I also will point this out now, that injury to Wentz is possibly the best thing that could have happened to us. It's changed my booking of the tournament a little bit, and it has led perfectly in my head to where we want to go with this tournament. So in a way, it's actually paid off more than what we were going to do. So let's just get on with it and see how bad this show might actually be. So we start off the show with a 62 rated segment where Eric Young and Sami Callihan gloat about last week's beatdown. This goes on for about 7 minutes. No one interrupts, no one says a word. It's silent. Why is it silent? Because Rick Swann is out and Gargano is out. And that's kind of the impact of having, no pun intended, of having this go on and start the show. This adds an eerie feel to the show, because you just realise that after last week's beatdown was an eerie end, this is an eerie beginning. It leads on perfectly from last week, of just this feeling of shit, they're gone, like Gargano is out, Swann is out. So yeah, and Young and Callahan like just gloat about this. Young says that he had this up his sleeve. As soon as Gargano targeted him, he knew he had to find a partner, someone who'd be willing to beat the crap out of Gargano to keep him away. And yeah, it was just perfect. So yeah, really nice segment there. Then we've got a 46 rated segment where the Sons of Perfection defeated the Deaners in about 30 minutes when Joe Henney pinned Cody Deaner with the Hennig-plex. This advances obviously the tournament, so the Sons of Perfection do advance to face the North in this tournament. Cousin Joke with a 40, Cody Deaner 32, and then David Boy Smith Jr. 39 and Joe Henney 44. Decent stuff, and Joe Henney was off his game apparently, so that's even better. So yeah, decent stuff here, 46 rating, really, really good stuff. But yeah, I wasn't sure how this match was going to go, so yeah. And we got Mike Chioda in. I was looking for referees because we were struggling for referees at the pay-per-view, so I wanted to bring more in, and I thought Mike Chioda would be a good referee. He's out and about at the moment, going to different shows for bigger matches, so I thought, why not put him on this? I'm not really going to properly use him as like a special attraction like I should, but he's on the in the referee's book anyway. Then we got a 47 rated segment where TJP is talking to Melissa Santos, and he's just like, that win against Ace Austin got so close to getting that opportunity to winning the Bound for Glory series. He went, so the fact that I beat TJP says the fact that I beat Ace Austin means that maybe I should go further. Maybe I should go for that world title. Maybe this is time for TJP to no longer be a mid-carder, to be a main event talent. So yeah, TJP's head has just switched. Obviously, he beat Ace Austin. He then, the next week, went into this tournament. He lost with Falabat. He got rid of Falabat, and it's like that, it clicked in his head. Maybe this is time I push forwards. Ace Austin comes in and is like, look mate, it was a fluke. You beat me by a fluke. And he walks away with Mammon Fulton. TJP, you see his face drop. Almost as if, you know, he's starting to doubt himself, as maybe that was a fluke. But 47 rated, good stuff there. Then we've got a 56 rated segment where Trey issues a warning to Guarini. He says to Guarini, I haven't forgotten about you. Yes, I'm supporting my friends in this tournament, but I have not forgotten about you. I will come after you. This is your pre-warning. I'm coming after you. 56 rating, really, really good promo by Trey here. Really good stuff. Yeah, surprisingly this show's going well. Then we've got a 49 rated segment where Eddie Edwards confronts Mac and tells him to stay away from the Kingdom. He tells him that, you know, you do not want to get involved with these guys. You've seen what they've done to me. Why are you still involved with these guys? And you see Willie Mac kind of considering things in his head. He's not really sure what to think. And Eddie Edwards is just like, come on, think. So yeah, Eddie Edwards is trying to snap Mac away from going to this dark side. Then we got a 45 rated segment where RVD defeated Tommy Dreamer in about 11 minutes by pinfall, where he has a handful of tights. He goes for a pin and grabs a handful of tights. Tommy Dreamer with 32, RVD 45, and they have no chemistry. Woo! So that's useful. Fuck's sake. The one time I book a segment where I'm going to have a second match between these two is the one time they have no chemistry. So I'll only do one more match between these two then. Only one more, because quite simply I can't afford to have any more when they have no chemistry. So 45 rated segment, decent, bearing in mind they have no chemistry. Then we have a 49 rated segment where Stephen Amell tells Chris Bay that there's a long line of contenders, and these are the first ones. The camera pans over and you just see Warhorse, Crazy Steve and Danhausen all together. The Warriors of Paint is what I might call them. I might call them the Warriors of Paint. I think that might be a decent name for them. But the Warriors of Paint all standing there together. Chris Bay is just shocked shocked, he's baffled. He doesn't know how they've earned this opportunity, but he knows in the coming weeks he's going to have to defeat each and every one of them. So yeah, 49 rated. Really good stuff here. I put Stephen Amell in. I might cancel his face turn. I might keep him heelish because the fans don't like it. But I put Stephen Amell in because I wanted to make sure that I'm not using Mick Foley too much. So I feel like for segments like this where it's not a big thing, it's not like a, you know, an announcement of like war games like William Regal does sort of thing, you know, adding this, having Stephen Amell in there helps out a little bit there, and he's really good on his promos, which is why I want to use him a bit more. 49 rated, good stuff there. And then we have a 43 rated segment where Wentz is injured. He's quite clearly injured. The Rascals are concerned. Des is like, look, do we have to pull out this tournament? And Wentz is like, no, we've got to do this. We've got to do this. A lot of concern here for Wentz and his injury. Then we've got a 42 rated segment where Jordynne Grace tells Melissa Santos that beating Purrazzo is important. It's important to her because that will prove to her that she deserves this another shot at the world title. She doesn't believe she should have a shot at the world title unless she's able to beat Purrazzo. And Purrazzo's just cocky. She's like, look, it's never going to happen. I'm going to win my title back. You're just never going to be in our league. So yeah, Purrazzo just dismissing Jordynne Grace. Then we've got a 46 rated segment where Rosemary defeated Havoc in about 16 minutes by submission with the Spider's Twist. Rosemary 38, Havoc 41. Really good stuff here. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a blow-off match between Rosemary and Havoc, and I knew this was going to be a good match, and it definitely was. So that might be the end of this Havoc Rosemary Valkyrie thing. I'm not really sure where to go with Rosemary, and I'm not really sure where to go with Havoc. If you've been looking at my Twitter over the past weekend, you'll know that Rosemary I'm very hot on. I love her. I think she's my favourite women's wrestler right now. She's got an amazing theme and everything. She's just the full package, and I want to invest in her. But that requires me putting her in a storyline. I'm not really sure where to go or who to put her in a storyline with. So yeah, give me some ideas. Maybe she goes on the back burner for a little bit and just joins this Valkyrie Hojo thing for now. Maybe she goes into a rivalry with Thunder Rosa a bit more. I'm not really sure. And where do I go with Havoc as well? I like Havoc. I don't know where really to go with her. So yeah, there are loads of different ways I could go with this. Whether this is the end or not, I don't know, but it felt like one. Then we've got a 42 rated segment where Valkyrie grabs the mic. Straight after this match, she grabs the mic and tells the world that no one is getting in her way of the title. Not Jordynne Grace, not Deonna Purrazzo. She's having Hojo. She's the first to have Hojo, and she will face Hojo at the pay-per-view. She really shows a little bit of aggression here of, no, this is my time. I've got to win this title back. A little bit of desperation maybe. Then we've got a 40 rated segment where Ken Shamrock tells Chris that he has to face him like a man. He has to talk to him like a man. No more beating each other up. Next week they choose how they're going to end this. They choose the stipulation together. Not as friends, as enemies, but they choose it together. They choose the best place. They both know they have the best chance of winning. So yeah, 40 rated segment here. Nice stuff, and next week we will find out the stipulation for their blow-off match. Then we have a 63 rated segment where the Motor City Machine Guns talk about the world buzzing about their chances in this, their chances of winning both the world titles and having the tag team titles. Moose and Miro walk in, and there's a bit of tension between the two of them. They walk in from either side, kind of almost like sandwiching the Motor City Machine Guns, but there's tension between Miro and Moose. Moose makes it clear that he wants that Impact World title. Miro makes it clear that he's never getting a shot at it. While the Motor City Machine Guns are kind of there a bit like, okay, well, we want it to be that we walk into the pay-per-view with both titles on our shoulders and we walk out with both titles on our shoulders. So a little bit of tension here, mainly between Moose and Miro. there's a lot of tension. So yeah, 63 rating, not nice stuff. I was considering, and I don't know whether to do it, a tag team match again, but where Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley will obviously beat Miro and Moose. But I feel like I kind of did that with the Sami Callihan thing, and I don't know whether that's a run-of-the-mill thing to do again. It would be a really good, and it would be a main event caliber match by a country mile, but I'm not sure whether to do it because obviously the Motor City Machine Guns will win that one, but that means that Miro or Moose have got to take the pin, and I'm not sure how I feel. Then we've got a 38 rated segment. Really? It's that bad? It's that bad? Bollocks. Okay. The Rascals defeated English and Gotch when Des pinned Simon Gotch. Simon Gotch got a 34, Aiden English 40, Wentz 28 and Des 42. Now, I put Wentz to have limited involvement in this match, hoping it would save it. And it kind of did a little bit because obviously we got a 38 rating. It's good stuff to bear in mind that Wentz got a 28. But it's going to hurt a lot because obviously Wentz was injured and that's took a toll. I'm not really sure where to go because I know roughly where I want to go with this, but that also requires another bad match because obviously they're now in the semis, and yeah, it will be another bad match. So I'm not really sure. Do I make them win the next match? And maybe, I know they're facing Ace Austin and my man Fulton. Trust me on this, I know what I'm doing here, but I was going to have the Rascals possibly win that and obviously have maybe the North and the Rascals meet in the final. But do I have them go out next? Do I maybe have them have to withdraw? I'm not really sure because it's obviously a really difficult one because this injury has took a bigger toll than I thought it would. So yeah, I'm not too sure. Then we've got a 52 rated segment where the Good Brothers come out and they're like, we want to know why did you attack us? Why did you come for us? And the Kingdom come out and Bert goes, you really don't remember? Remember the last time I was here. Remember the last time you saw this face. Remember that and you'll understand why. And they just leave. And it's just so ominous because quite clearly in this segment, Burke is pissed. Burke is pissed at the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers look confused. So we're slowly trying to work it out. Obviously you can find out for yourselves. You will find out exactly why. But yeah, it's to do with the last time Burke ever stepped foot in Impact Wrestling. And I think this will be the main event. And I'm not sure how it will go. The main event of the evening is a 52 rated match where EC3 defeated Brian Myers when Brian Myers intentionally got disqualified. EC3 was kind of bossing this match as he should, and Brian Myers got a bit desperate and started just beating him up, almost like, you know, when they just keep punching them in the face and the referee does the count. It was like that, and Brian Myers got disqualified. So EC3 picks up the win, but Brian Myers looks good in this one. Yeah, decent stuff, 52 rating, and then there's another segment, which is a 50 rated segment where EC3 gets attacked by Brian Myers, not Rhino, Brian Myers. He's just getting attacked by him. He continues the attack, blood is pouring out the mouth of EC3. And then Heath runs down for the save for obvious reasons. He's had his troubles with Myers. And as he's running down the ramp, my words today aren't coming out at all. When he's running down the ramp, Rhino comes in with a gore, just completely takes out Heath, just takes him apart, rips him in half. And that's how it finishes with Myers and Rhino on top. So yeah, it might be a tag match between these two. Two teams. I might do it at the pay-per-view. I was considering maybe Heath versus Rhino for the pay-per-view, maybe even Myers versus Heath at the pay-per-view, more Rhino Heath, but I realised I haven't really used EC3, and this is a really good way of getting EC3 in a rivalry, because Myers has just made it personal for EC3, and also might actually get him on the pay-per-view, and I think EC3 would bump up that match a little bit as well. So 50 rated. How bad was the show? 55 rating. That might be one of our worst ones for a while. I did say that will probably be one of our worst. I didn't obviously use Foley in this one, so I didn't have a high rating there. I also didn't have a strong main event, and those were the two things really. If I'm not going to have a strong main event, I kind of have to use Foley, but I didn't want to this week. I didn't feel that it was a good spot to put him in. And the same for the main event. There wasn't a good main event to chuck in there. I wasn't going to just randomly chuck one in. Last week, the Gargano-Callahan one made sense. I was going to put Callahan in that rivalry, so it made sense. The same here. I knew I was going to put EC3 in that rivalry. I had to make a decision, and I decided to put him in the main event because it did end up being the best match on the card. So it was the right decision as well. So but obviously I've got a lot of things to think about with the Rascals, with Wentz. What do I do there? What do I do with this tournament now? Do I change up my plans because of this injury? That's probably the wise choice. Maybe I just have Ace Austin and Madman Fulton destroy the Rascals a little bit. Maybe more destroy Wentz just completely and make it like a referee stoppage type thing. Might be the best way to go about it. And then have whatever final I want. But yeah, that's probably the best way to go about it. I thought the injury, what I was going to do was obviously eventually have the injury just trip the Rascals up. Maybe I have the injury trip up the Rascals a bit earlier, maybe to make the crowd in the game think, oh, they're going to go all the way even with this injury. No, yeah, I think that's probably the best decision to make. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. It really is a bit of a weird one. So we've got this where Glenn Gilberti says that Danhausen has poor ring psychology. The kid is probably not worth keeping him out. He definitely is, because it's Danhausen, and Danhausen is great, so you can shut up. Kimberly is staying. Yeah, it was an excellent show. It's gone down as an excellent show. The fact that it was still excellent in terms of the game, but obviously I don't think it's excellent, says a lot really. We'll go into here, we'll look at the size. It obviously said that we were improving, because all you got to do is get above what your popularity is now, and get considerably above that, and that's exactly what we're doing. So we're still improving our popularities, it's just not as probably as much as we were. But yeah, that wasn't a great show to start 2021 with, unfortunately, but what can we do? So if anything happens before Explosion, I'll show you. If not, we'll just get straight on with it. Right, so obviously we didn't beat AEW this week. They got a 64 rating, and the main event was Adam Page beating Cody, Pac and Dustin Rhodes in a ladder match for the title. Yeah, that was really good, wasn't it? Thanks AEW. But they got a 64. I knew I wasn't going to compete with them. And NXT I lost to for the first time in a long time. They got a 59. That was one of their best shows actually for a long time. So I produced one of my worst ones. They produced one of their best ones. It's nice to see. I prefer the competition than us just beating NXT every week. But yeah, that was one of our weaker shows. It wasn't a bad one. It was just one of our weaker ones. Right, so we got a couple of segments this time. So the first one is D'Lo Brown and Mick Foley, where D'Lo Brown was brought before the Wrestlers Court, accused of being absorbed by his phone, paying attention to the locker room meeting, and found him guilty and told him to buy a crate of beer. Decent stuff there, positive impact. Then we got Scott D'Amore and Chris Sabin, where Scott D'Amore has been passing on microphone tips to Chris Sabin as well. Really good stuff there. Right, so I'll book the show in and I'll show you what happens. Right, so I've booked the show. I think it's a decent one actually. Just progressing some storylines and just also trying to get wins for people. There's 3 matches on this card where it's just about getting a win for somebody, whether that be a team or an individual. So I think let's just get into it and see what happens on Explosion. So we start off the show with a 44 rated segment where the Kingdom defeated Renault Scum in about 10 minutes when Jonathan Gresham pinned Lust for the Legend with a spike pile driver. Frigyehi 43, he's got 20 popularity by the way, 43 there. Jonathan Gresham 51, and then Lust for the Legend and Adam Forstone 26 each. I would like to point out that Frigyehi and Jonathan Gresham aren't tag team specialists. They also don't have great chemistry as a partnership, yet still put on performances like that. They are tag team champions in the making. Somehow, without knowing or watching either of these two wrestle in the past, or at least remembering having watched them in the past, they have both performed incredibly well and have possibly become one of our best tag teams at the moment. So yeah, great stuff there. If you're wondering why I didn't put them in the tag team tournament, it's because I had a plan for the tag team tournament. I had a plan on the winners of the tag team tournament, and if the Kingdom were in there, that would mean that the Kingdom would have to lose, and I didn't want them to lose just yet. They're a new tag team. So yeah, 44 rating, really good stuff there. Then we have a 28 rated segment where Rohit Raju is really unsure about where his career lies at the moment. You know, he's left the Desi Hit Squad behind, but what's next? And he's a bit unsure. This is just going to be little segments week by week for Rohit for quite a while, I think. Then we've got a 39 rated segment where ODB tries to get Kylie Ray more aggressive. So ODB is the person Kylie Ray has got on her side to get her more aggressive, and she wants to do it before their match. So she starts hitting Kylie Ray, and Kylie Ray is just like, why are you doing this, why are you doing this? And ODB is like, hit me, hit me. And Kylie Ray eventually hits her. It's all about, ODB here is just trying to train her, and you can, every now and again you can hear some laughter in the background, and that's Sue Young. This is just ODB trying to get Kylie Ray in the zone. She's got this week, next week, and then she's got to face Sue Young. And there's just almost no chance of getting her into the right mindset, but ODB is trying her best to. And then we have the match, which is a 39 rated segment where Kylie Ray defeated ODB in about 10 minutes with a super kick. She's finally showing more aggression. She's finally getting there. This is, as I said, all about trying to get Kylie Ray to get more aggressive and more aggressive. I might end up changing a gimmick at the end of this. The plan is to get Kylie Ray more aggressive. It'll be a lot easier to book Kylie Ray when she's not being really, really nice. And I get the gimmick, I get that. And she's an overly nice person. But I would like to see a little bit of a different side of Kylie Ray, and this is a way of getting her there. And it makes Sue Young look really good if Sue Young manipulates and changes somebody like Kylie Ray. Then we've got a 45 rated segment where Melina and Tennille Dashwood tell Armal if they have to replace the Rascals in the tournament, they will happily replace the Rascals in the tournament. Yeah. Yes, I might be doing it. What English and Gotch have to say about that, don't quite know, because surely they'll be the people that deserve the bye. It'll probably lead to a tag team match between Melina Perez and Tennille Dashwood versus Gotch and English. Who you want me to win that, I don't really care. Who wins that to then move on. I will probably be replacing the Rascals, and then that will lead to storyline progression there. But yeah, this is one way of just progressing these storylines, and the 45 rating, decent stuff. Then we have a 44 rated segment where TJP defeated AC Romero in about 10 minutes with a jumping net breaker. TJP got a 46 here, AC Romero with a 35. Yeah, so I wanted to see what AC Romero could do as a single star, because he's the one out of Triple XL that has been doing well. And TJP I also wanted to give a win to, because he's got cold momentum, so I thought it would be a good idea to lift that up a little bit. So yeah, decent stuff here, and you know, Ace and Romero actually having a decent singles rating is good to see. Then we have a 43 rated segment where the Warriors of Paint choose Danhausen to face Chris Bay first, which will happen obviously on Impact. So yeah, one by one they're just going to face Chris Bay to test Chris Bay out. This also gives the Warriors of Paint time to gel and to see where I go with these three. So yeah, decent stuff here, just a nice middle ground storyline between the two pay-per-views here. Then we have the main event, which is a 40 rated segment where Madison Rayne defeated Angelina Love in about 15 minutes with the raindrop. This was a no holds barred match, this was a car crash, and Madison Rayne with 38, Angelina Love 36. Really good stuff here. Whether this rivalry ends here, I don't know, but it feels like another ending. Maybe we have one of these go for maybe Rosemary, one of them go for Havoc, something like that. I don't really know. The lower card of the women's division right now, I'm finding it really hard to book. So yeah, I don't really know where to go with multiple of these storylines. They all seem to be coming to an end at the same time, which isn't ideal. So yeah, where to go, I don't really know. And we'll finish the show there. Provides us with a 44. All the matches on this show are really good. I wanted to put I knew the main event wouldn't be the best match, but I wanted to put it in the main event because it's the only one that had any weight to it. So we'll finish the show there. Really good stuff here. Was just a meh show, wasn't the best show in the end, but I kind of expected that going into this one. We got a lot of storylines in the women's division, especially that are ending, so we'll probably need to rejig a few things around where we go with that. That's kind of up to you guys. Obviously it is up to me if you guys don't have any ideas, but if you do put them in the comment section down below, because that will help me out. Anyway, this has been a decent episode. Hit that like button if you have enjoyed it and excited for where this goes from here. Put anything down in the comment section down below, because I do read them, I do reply, and it does help me. And if you're new here, please do subscribe as well to not miss a single episode of this, and I shall see all of you guys in the next video. See ya!